Hi Sagittarius, how are we today? Just doing our weekly readings. This week we are looking at the month ahead, so February 2024. Okay, can't believe it's getting, January's almost over, everyone. Would you believe? I don't even know what date it is, so I'm still on holiday mode, I swear, just getting back from Bali. So if it's already the 1st of February, well, welcome to February. Um, I'll catch up eventually, I'm sure. I cannot work out for the life of me what day it is today. Um, Tomorrow is the 1st of February. Getting there, okay. Took me a second. Okay, Sagittarius. So please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy my waffling on with random stuff like that. We do really appreciate every single like, comment, and subscribe. Just a small channel, so it does mean a lot to me. Okay. But this week we are using, I've got 3 different decks here. We are starting off this week with the Mystic Martian Oracle, which is a sort of relatively new deck for me, and it does actually have some really deep, meaningful kind of messages coming through, so enjoying using that deck at the moment. Our main deck, we've got the Gilded Reverie Lenormand, and then we also have the Soul Connection When Two Hearts Meet Love Oracle. Okay, so getting into it for you, Sagittarius, we're dividing the month start, middle, and then end. We'll start with an overview from the Mystic Martian and then delve into the Lenormand as we go. Okay, Sagittarius, what's going on for our Sagittarians? February 2024. Start, middle, and end of February for Sagittarius. Ooh, that's looking very interesting for you, Sagittarius. Starting February off here, we do have the water element coming through. Okay, so that's Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. So you may have strong placements in one of those. But overall, this is about emotion and reflection, kindness, and compassion. So those lovely emotions that we're able to share with others, kindness, compassion. So there may be a lot of kindness being shown to you at the start of February, but I do feel that for a lot of you, this is you reflecting upon your own kindness and your own compassion and your own ability to share that with others. Very interesting because, you know, we are seeing you being a fire element. Water is kind of your opposite. So it is very interesting to see that coming out for you. So kind of embracing the softer sides of yourself, the less fiery sides of yourself at the start of February here. But we'll have a look into that for you. Okay, Sagittarius. What's going on for Sagittarius, the start of February? And just one to clarify, what is that in regard to for Sagittarius, please? Just want to clarify what that's in regard to for Sagittarius. And clarify that 3rd card for Sagittarius. Okay, so this may be a little bit confronting for some of you to hear. Not so much about yourself here, Sagittarius, but what I'm seeing, we do have the whip coming through first and foremost. And that does talk about trouble and tension. It can be self-conflict, like the things that you're in conflict, that trouble you, about yourself and those sorts of things. But I do feel that with this next card, we do have the birds, the owls in this. There's two cards in this deck of the birds, and this is the owls, the more wiser version of that. And with those two cards together, because the owls does talk about conversations and talking. The whip sometimes can talk about, quarreling, fighting. So it does kind of lead me to believe that there may be some sort of verbal conflict happening at the start of February here. It may have already happened for some of you, and we're reflecting on that verbal stoush kind of energy, because it may have left you in some sort of conflict tension. Feel it's kind of beating yourself up energy with that whip. You may be beating yourself up that you didn't communicate wisely enough during an argument, those sorts of things. Or you're maybe actually reflecting upon the wisdom of that argument, that somebody was actually wiser than you gave them credit for at the time. So there is this sort of reflection element coming through as well. So it may be the case that you haven't had this argument yet, but then you have this argument, and then like kind of immediately after you start to reflect on what's actually been said and whatnot, and you're kind of beating yourself up like, oh, why did I react in a argumentative way when they were actually giving me good advice here. They were trying to communicate maturely, and I just took it as trouble, drama kind of energy. So there's definitely some sort of, I feel like for a lot of you, this is definitely a verbal altercation with somebody that's either happened already or will be happening. But ultimately, it's actually a positive thing, because of the reflection of that and the wisdom that gives you. Okay, it is going to give you knowledge and wisdom. So when we have verbal altercations with people, a lot of the time, if you do reflect upon that, it does. There is a huge opportunity to learn and gain wisdom about yourself, how you react in those sorts of situations. Somebody may have actually said something that hit a little bit close to home, turned into an argument, but then later on you realize that hit a bit close to home because there was some sort of truth behind that. So sometimes these things, which can be very uncomfortable, a verbal argument type energy, very uncomfortable, but and obviously we don't want to be having arguments with people, but a lot of the time it's what we learn from those arguments that's actually the really important thing. And I'm seeing that here as well, because we do have the clockwork, which was clarified by the tree. So once again, we get that wisdom with the tree coming through here. And it's kind of like with the clockwork, it talks about time. So it was time for that energy to be released. It was time for that, it was bound to happen one way or another kind of energy where, that argument was going to happen, but the time was right for that to happen now. And it's kind of like, if that had happened a month ago, you maybe wouldn't have been able to reflect and learn from that argument. Whereas the timing of that, for some of you, it may be bad timing as well. It may just be really bad timing when this happens. But, there is this strong element of it gives you the time to learn and grow from this. The tree is all about self-growth and looking after yourself. And it gives you the time to do so and to really reflect upon your own maturity, upon this person's maturity. Because, sometimes when we have an argument with somebody, it shows us, what we need to know. It was time for you to maybe know something about that person and how they react. I'm not putting all the blame on you here, Sagittarius. Although it does feel that for a lot of you, you are putting the blame on yourself with this. And that's why we're reflecting on elements of kindness and compassion and understanding where this person was coming from, where this communication led you both, and especially taking it on board in order to learn and grow from this. So ultimately, it is actually a good thing, even though, like I said, it's coming through in the sense of it's very likely to be an argument, for a lot of you here. But it's kind of showing you that it's time for you to grow and look after yourself, and focus on your own maturity and your own wisdom. So it's really giving you this opportunity to learn, educate yourself a little bit more about yourself by reflecting upon this quarrel or argument. I did also have the heart clarifying that as well as to what that's in regard to. So for quite a lot of you, it may be an argument directly with somebody that you do care about deeply. It's somebody that you do love, regardless of whether that's romantic love or platonic love. It also does show us here that it's giving you this opportunity to love yourself more. Okay, because the heart space really does show us that it's once again coming back to that kindness and compassion for yourself as well. Really reminding you to reflect upon that from a place of love, rather than, oh, they said this and rather than letting those negative emotions overtake you. Try to really comprehend this and be compassionate of the love that has come from this, the love for yourself, the love to learn more, the love, maybe someone said something harsh to you, but it was coming from a place of love. It's giving me that kind of vibe here. Toward the middle of the month, we do have the golden ratio coming through for you. Okay. So that says beauty, nature, and patterns. So for some of you, that's leading directly off that. You're noticing that there is a pattern, that has come up with this quarrel, and it's making you sort of become more aware of certain patterns with the way that you're interacting with your loved ones, with people in your life in general, with yourself as well. But it's really stopping and appreciating the beauty in nature, finding those patterns that there's such a synchronicity in nature itself. Like, if you don't know about the golden ratio, I really suggest looking into that in nature, because it's such an interesting thing. Because when you get down to a molecular level, there is this beautiful sequence to nature, and everything sort of aligns to the same, because it's like the Fibonacci spiral, I think it's called. Is that what maybe I'm confusing myself with something else here, but there's this beautiful pattern to everything in nature. Like, you look at a leaf under a microscope, and it'll have a very similar pattern to another leaf when you get down to a molecular level, even when they're totally different plants. The patterns in nature, like the way that birds migrate, that sort of pattern, the way that sea animals migrate, and all those sorts of things, they follow a pattern. And even just with the tides and the patterns of the earth as a whole, with the moon and the sun, day and night, those sorts of patterns, and really stopping and appreciating the beauty of nature. There's something for you this month, in looking at the finer beauty of life around you. But we'll get a bit more detail here. I feel like it's going to talk about balance a lot for you, balancing yourself out, finding the patterns within yourself, and finding your zen, finding your balance in amongst it all. Sagittarius, what's going on for Sagittarius the middle of February, please? relatively straightforward here, Sagittarius. We do have the crossroad coming through first, the pathways card. Okay, and that does, you can see in this deck, it's the two doorways. It's kind of like choosing which door you're going to walk through. It does show us that there is an upcoming choice for you in the middle of February, but it's got a lot more to do with what path you're walking in this life, what path should you stay on the path that you're on, or should you walk a new path, should you open a new door. Behind each door, it's an opportunity, and there's always, a lot of success behind these open doorways here. It's like multiple opportunities opening up for you, and you kind of having to choose which direction you're going to go. We do have the mountain as well, which the mountain is all about obstacles and delays. So there may be some obstacles. It's kind of like when we see those two together, you can kind of imagine, in most decks this is an actual crossroads or an actual pathway. Okay, and so you can imagine that this pathway, one of these pathways is taking, they're all, it's like there's multiple pathways up this mountain. There's like a pathway that goes directly up the mountain. There's another pathway that loops and spirals and goes the scenic route. It's not as hard to walk as that first pathway. But it takes longer to get to the top. And it's kind of asking you, choosing how you're going to tackle any obstacles. Are you going to face them head on? Any delays or obstacles that you are facing, are you going to face them head on, or are you going to take your time and persevere and know that you will finally get there. You've just chosen to walk a different path with maybe a few detours and scenic spots to sit on the way. Okay, as opposed to slugging it out and doing constant pressure to get up to the top straight immediately. It's asking you, how do you want to overcome any obstacles that you're facing in the near future? Are you choosing to tackle things head on, or are you choosing to try to get around things slightly differently and take that detour? With the mountain card too, there is always that option to avoid the mountain altogether and take the very long way and walk around the whole bottom of the mountain, which personally I don't suggest that way, because without facing any obstacles in any form, you never get to the top, and you can never see the beautiful view from the top of the mountain, because once we get to the top of that mountain, once we overcome those obstacles, that's where the opportunities and achievement is, and you can see your way clear for miles, and you know exactly which path to take to get back down. So choosing to avoid obstacles altogether, it is an option, but it's not one I would personally suggest, because then you're going to maybe miss out on some of these opportunities that are coming up for you. All right, because it's just sort of showing us that there is some obstacles in the path, but also when we see the mountain card too, especially with this choice here, it's asking you, how do you choose to view these obstacles as well? Are you choosing to view that as Mount Everest, or are you actually going to step back a little bit into the beauty of nature and realize, do you know what, that's just a beautiful mountain. It might present a bit of like an obstacle to climb it, but once I get to the top, I'm going to have this great view and I'm going to see everything. And when you start to view obstacles like that, that, do you know what, I'm going to tackle it. I'm willing to take it on, because I know that, the hard work's going to pay off and it's going to work out for me in the long run either way. You get to this thing where it's no longer Mount Everest. It's just a little speed bump on that path. And you're actually much more able to tackle future obstacles after that. So it's just asking you, how are you going to tackle any obstacles that come your way. So regardless, because when we see these doors, we don't know what's on the other side of those doors until we actually walk through them. So it's asking you to prepare for any obstacles along the way and set sail anyway. All right, we've got the ship coming through there as well, Sagittarius, which is all about starting a brand new adventure, taking taking that step through the door, taking those steps up that mountain, and jumping on that ship and setting sail into the sunset. No matter where this journey takes me, I'm going to get on that ship and go for it. It's a brand new adventure, even if there's obstacles, even if we hit some stormy water. It's all part of the adventure. It's all part of life, and I'm willing to put my sails up and set sail here. So it's all about starting that new adventure, starting these new journeys in your life, within yourself as well. Once again, really up to you how you choose to view these things. I feel like it's reminding you that if you choose to view this as it's all just part of the adventure. It's all just brand new opportunities and brand new adventures for you, even when it's hard. It's really going to pay off for you in the long run, because that ship energy, that's your ships are coming in one way or another. It's just a matter of how heavy you're going to load that with cargo before you cross the ocean. So very interesting, because we are seeing that kind of element as well coming back through again of this all being in regard to your personal growth here. That it's sort of asking you to reflect a little bit more and be more compassionate with yourself and grow, evolve yourself just a little bit more here. There's no such thing as a perfect person. We all have things that we can learn, ways that we can grow. It's when we stop tackling those obstacles that we get stuck at the bottom of the mountain, and those doors close to us, and that ship, it no longer has an ocean to cross. We just stay stuck in where we are right now. Where we are right now, it might be very comfortable, but it doesn't have all the opportunities that the future does. If we stay at this same level our whole lives, we know we're going to be at this same level our whole lives, where we all of a sudden we lose out on the potential positive outcomes of what the next level could bring for us. Okay, so my advice is to just jump on that ship and set sail, and start moving forward one way or another. Moving toward the end of the month, we do have your element, the fire element. Okay, so we finally see you back into your own element at the end of February. We saw you, in the water element at the start of February, and then back into your own fire, your own flame, your own passion, desire. That does say warrior, passion, and fearlessness. So, isn't that beautiful, coming off that ship energy, that fearlessness? I know there's obstacles no matter what path I take. Do you know what? I'm going to jump on into the fire anyway. I know that, there's a chance I might get burnt, but you know what? I never know until I jump on in. So, following your passion, being fierce, and being that strong warrior kind of energy here. Beautiful energy. I love the fire energy. I do have quite a lot of planets and placements in fire. I really do love the fire energy, that passion and fierceness. You just can't, nothing like it, right? You got to love a fire sign. Okay. Sagittarius. What's going on for Sagittarius at the end of February? Okay, so we're seeing that passion all over again with the snake coming through. The passion behind the snake is ambition, and the fierceness once again of being that snake who, do you know what, I can get around any obstacle. I'll just slither my way through and get through regardless. There is a lot of passion and ambition, desire behind the snake energy. So it's having that desire to overcome adversity, to face the snake, and come away knowing that even if you get bitten, anti-venom exists. I know it's not a fail-safe, but But there is also, I'm getting a bit of temptation coming through here as well. Temptation to ignore your passion and ambitions here. You kind of a small element of trying to deceive yourself about, oh, I'm not really that passionate about that. Or I don't know if I can really follow my ambition here. I'm just getting that just a little bit for you, Sagittarius, that there is that temptation to fall back on maybe old habits of self-doubt coming through here. But, if you're following your fire, you are going to be fine. All right, that's really what this is all about, following your fire. And it's definitely leading you somewhere, because we do have the garden coming through here. And the garden is all about meeting someone halfway, having meetings, social. It is a social card. It's finding that inner zen as well, that garden space where you're finding that inner zen, that restfulness, that peacefulness within yourself. But it is a very public social card as well. So it's kind of, this strong element here of following your ambition. I feel like for a lot of you, this is some sort of ambition toward a specific meeting, whether this is meeting a specific person, or, it could be meeting up with your boss and asking for a promotion, following that sort of passion. Oh, I want a promotion, or I want to have a meeting about changing departments, and I'm really ambitious towards this direction rather than that. So it could definitely be those sorts of meetings and proposals. It definitely could be some sort of event coming through as well that is going to sort of stoke the fire. I'm getting this fire really strongly here, with that snake energy too, that it's like, I don't know when the fire festival is on in America, because that's America, right, that has the fire festival. I'm hearing the fire festival, and like Burning Man. I don't know when they're on, but it could be something like that you're following some sort of passion and ambition to head towards something fire related, forging your way through the flames. There's a lot of passion and desire behind you. I know that much for sure. So for a lot of you, this could actually be a person as well, because I am getting that desire strongly as well, that you're very desirous of meeting up with somebody, meeting somebody in real life, maybe if you've met them online, for example, meeting somebody halfway, compromising with somebody in that sense, presenting someone with a proposal, like, taking them out on a date, because this is my date card as well. All those sorts of things coming through here. There is a bit of desire there, because the snake can talk about physical intimacy as well. So that definitely could talk about a sex hookup. Like I said, those meetings, it definitely could be a physical meeting with somebody. But it actually leads you to this anchor energy, which I'm feeling for you. This anchor energy can go like a few different ways, but I'm feeling for you that it's just secure energy, dependable energy. Feeling like you're anchored where you want to go now. You may have been a little bit confused and not quite sure in the past here, but by the end of February, it does feel as though after this meeting has happened, it really helps you secure yourself and find this dependability within yourself of, I can depend on myself. I can depend on my passion. And so it's just like you're sort of finalizing this for yourself at the moment. And it's just leading you to this lovely place where that, once again, we saw with that obstacle and setting sail anyway. That's exactly what this anchor is all about, because the anchor holds the ship steady through those storms. So you get to the end of February and all of a sudden you realize that you are your own anchor here, and that you can hold yourself steady no matter what storm hits. You're not going to float away, that you can get through anything. If you've been through all these other obstacles, you can get through this next one too. You know that you're dependent, you can depend on yourself. You have the sturdiness and the strength within you to, hold yourself steady through anything that comes your way. So I feel like that's a really strong message, just sort of letting you know that at the end of February you're going to feel much more stabilized within yourself and a lot more secure within who you are and where you're going. You know, I feel as though there's something coming through the end of February where it's really all sort of falling into place for you, and you're going to feel a lot more like a lot more like yourself, a lot more whole, a lot more steady. Very interesting. Okay, but we'll have a look at romantic love for you as well. Sagittarius, what's going on for Sagittarius with romantic love, please? What's going on for Sagittarius with romantic love? February, romantic love for Sagittarius. Okay, so it's not really bringing through much energy from anyone else here, to be completely honest, Sagittarius. I do have the tested energy. Your strengths and weaknesses are being tested. I do feel as though these three cards do link back up to this argument at the start of the month. You know, it does, you know, we did see that was highly possibly with a loved one of some sort, and it's kind of testing your strengths and weaknesses, testing whether you are going to be able to reflect and grow from this situation. We have the Soul card. Your soul is preparing to reconnect. Trust in the process. This is reconnecting with yourself, Sagittarius. So you know, like I said, when we get to that anchor energy, you're fully reconnected with yourself. You're preparing to reconnect with yourself. Trust in this process. Even if there's fighting, even if there's obstacles, you need to trust in the process of this. And we do also have feelings. So once again, we're seeing that possible fighting element there, that quarreling element. Take time out to explore the deep emotions that you're experiencing. So, you know, reflecting on what you're feeling, what that's brought up for you, you know, where that's going to take you from here. So I do feel as though, you know, there is an element of needing to reflect upon, you know, what you're feeling, you know, especially in regard to any fighting that you've been involved in, any tension or drama that you have been involved in or are going to be involved in here. Okay, so that's what we've got for you this week, Sagittarius. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, but hopefully I'll see you all again soon.